Good afternoon. It's wonderful to be with you here today, and thank you all for being here. You know, to have people from all over the country come together in this important cause, and as you see, this is really a nonpartisan cause, and it's and bipartisan, but such important work that we have to do. And earlier this year, when Congress passed the Resolution 75 that addressed the ongoing struggle for human and religious rights in the Middle East, it was something where we all came together. And when we were on the floor together talking about this, there was no daylight on those of us who were working together on this, and it passed nearly unanimously. Of course, you don't hear about that, but it's so important because this is an issue that needs so much more attention. You know, there is an adage in the press world, if it bleeds, it leads. But ironically, on this issue, where people are being slaughtered, and Christians are, every day, we aren't seeing it. You think about what we are able to see and do with these devices that we all have today, that are so, they're all over the world, and we have them. And so you would think it's not like in times past where people can say we didn't know, that we didn't have the information. But we do. We have the pictures, we have the video, we have these stories, but we get immune to it. And so I would hope, everything you're doing here today, you can go back everywhere and keep telling these stories and telling the individual stories. Because I remember as a young girl, I went to Catholic school and we'd read the stories of the saints. And as a young child, you always, I would not deny my Lord. Right? They came to me, but of course most of us would be like St. Peter, and we would say, no, don't know him, run away. But every day there are stories of saints who are among us, who are being victimized. It is incredible when you read these stories, and that is why we have come together to work on this. The resolution that I mentioned, and I know others have spoken about, had 200 co-sponsors, including myself, and expressed the sense of Congress that those who commit or support these atrocities against Christians, Yazidis, Kurds, and other religious minorities in the region, and those who target them specifically for ethnic or religious reasons, are committing war crimes, crimes against humanity and genocide. These are crimes that we all grow up reading about, and now they're happening among us, but we don't hear about it. This is not history, this is going on every day. ISIS beheading young children, raping women. Time magazine featured a young Yazidi woman named Nadia back last December. Her first-hand account was harrowing about what these evil, evil people had done to her. She tried to escape and was recaptured and recounted her story by saying, quote, "That night he beat me up, forced me to undress, and put me in a room with 6 militants. They continued to commit crimes to my body until I became unconscious." End quote. The European Parliament, the U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom, the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, and the Iraqi and Kurdish governments all have labeled ISIS's actions as genocide. I so appreciate the good work, the 278-page IDC report that was released with the Knights of Columbus that outlined to the administration the ways in which ISIS's actions constituted genocide and showed that the minimum standard of probable cause had been met. And those stories need to be told again and again. And we know every day those stories are being documented, and they should, and we have to be united in stopping them. The law also states that the President shall consider that actions can be taken to ensure that those who are responsible for genocide are brought to account for such crimes in an appropriate constituted tribunal. Further, based on the most recent iteration of the National Defense Authorization Act that was passed in November, the President is required to develop a clear strategy to stop these organizations. Now, you all are probably very familiar with my predecessor, Congressman Frank Wolf, who worked on these important issues, and I'm honored to be able to work today with the people that he worked on these issues for years. Since his retirement from Congress, he hasn't retired at all from this important cause. He has worked tirelessly with the 21st Century Wilberforce Initiative on this effort to preserve Christianity in the Middle East. And I know you all are so familiar with what he is doing. So it is such a privilege for me to be able to be here today and continue to work with his colleagues, work with all the people, work with you on these important issues. And I so appreciate that you have made this effort to be here with us. Please come and tell all your stories to all my colleagues and continue this fight. And it is my privilege to be able to be here. So thank you so much.